Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Tim Hankewich.
Hi.
This is that time of year when Tim is on about every other show.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
But before we dive into that, I have to tell you something, that this episode of the Culture Crawl is number 1,000.
I'm honored.
Yeah.
I am honored.
Woohoo!
I wish I had confetti.
And Tim has been my guest for 994.
True that.
Those.
Yeah.
But Culture Crawl has actually been going on darn near 20 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. But when we launched the podcast and started sharing the videos to social media, I adopted the social media, the podcasting practice of numbering episodes.
Excellent.
So
yeah.
I'd already probably done about 500 before that, but
Right.
this is officially number 1,000.
Wonderful.
So.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So that was So it has nothing to do with the concert coming up, but I wanted to recognize the occasion, and this is another one of the orchestra's play-along.
Yeah. Wow.
Which has become a bit of a cottage industry, particularly for you,
Correct.
because you travel the country
doing this.
this for other orchestras.
So let's back up just a little bit, because sometimes there's a bit of cognitive dissonance, and a good comparison would be the concert we just did with the music of Harry Potter versus Home Alone film with music. So with the Harry Potter program, we were playing the highlights of all 8 films, and we put it in its own format, and it was all about the music. This, Home Alone, we present the entire film, and in this case, the musical soundtrack has been scrubbed from the film, and Orchestra Iowa plays the musical soundtrack in real time with the film. And I will also say, not just Orchestra Iowa, but we're also joined by the choruses of Lindmar and Jefferson.
Because there's some choir.
There's some singing in there as well. It is a unique challenge to do this. And it's become more popular in my industry, but not every orchestra can do this. These Hollywood studios do vet the orchestra and the conductors to make sure that they have the ability to do it. The music is very challenging, and we can get into the detail about the conducting of it, because it too is very challenging to do, because it's not just playing music randomly underneath the score. There are dramatic elements in the film where the music has to line up exactly for it to work, and that's my job.
And the process of how that works has also changed, because I know the first couple you did of these were classic movies. It was Maltese Falcon or something like that.
It was Casablanca.
That's it. And you were remarking that it was a very analog process.
Oh, yes.
You were looking at.
Correct. In the old way they used to do it, you have an analog circular clock, and in every measure you have a timestamp. So you just know I have to be at 3 seconds here and 5 seconds here and 10 seconds there. And so you
also have to be able to tell time on an analog
clock. Yeah. What's the big hand? What's the little clock? But the thing is that you have to guess what the tempo is going to be, and you just have to kind of keep up with the clock. Post 1980, which Home Alone is, now everything's digitized. And so I have a click track in my ear, but I also have a special conducting monitor that tells me what measure I'm supposed to be in, what beat I'm supposed to be on. There are other cheats in there as well. Sometimes every 3 measures or so, my screen will flash, just because it's so easy to get off trying to reconcile what you hear with the click and what the orchestra is actually playing. And then when something really important's coming, I get this huge green line that comes up, just a big warning to the conductor saying, hey, I don't care where you are, but get a move on, because you have to be at this point now. And then you go on your merry way.
And so is it easier then with all of that extra stuff, or was it?
It's a lot of sensory overload.
Yeah, because you got something in your ear, you've got something that you're watching,
right.
And by the way, and you're also moving your hands.
Right. So with larger orchestras, when I was with the New York Philharmonic, my goodness, two years ago.
Yeah. That's just
did I just drop a name? Let me pick that up again.
Just a little thing. Yeah, Tim was doing this for the New York Philharmonic.
Yeah. So they actually have all the musicians were on click. So that was easy. Here, we don't have that luxury, but sometimes it gets in the way. And so to give you a sense of what's really happening is that there's no such thing as absolute tempo. in that when an orchestra is playing acoustically with each other, they're constantly making micro adjustments. So even though the audience doesn't know this, but the orchestra is constantly either speeding up or slowing down. And so when I have a click going on in my ear and I'm giving the beat, the orchestra is playing slightly ahead or slightly behind. And if they start getting dangerously behind, I have to do some gestural things to get them moving again. And it's like steering a battleship. You can get them to start playing faster, but if you're too aggressive with it, they'll not only catch up, but they'll then exceed you. And so the challenge for me as the conductor is hearing the click in my ear, reconciling it with what's actually being played, and then making conducting decisions of how do I get them to these particular points that are non-negotiable, that have to be right on time. And that is like more than just rubbing your head and patting your tummy. That's quite a skill. And that's why not everyone, although a lot of orchestras are now doing. There are a lot of conductors doing, a lot of them in Iowa even. But not every conductor can just say, "Hey, I'm going to do this film," because you have to be vetted first before the studios let you do it.
It's a different set of skills.
It is totally. I've got a unique set of skills. Yes, indeed.
So this movie in particular, I was thinking about, wow, the musical signatures. We've got Kevin running through the house and, setting all the booby traps and stuff. Spoilers for a 35-year-old movie. But I was thinking that the music is really, really important to, as much, more so maybe than some others.
Well,
we talk about John Williams, being
so
such an important part of Harry Potter, but this is a case where the music actually moves the action along.
I think your listening audience might be getting tired of us saying how great John Williams is, but it does bear to be repeated. And here's where I'll tie it all together, because your listening audience may remember over the summer we were having a lot of fun raising money for this instrument called the celeste. Or celesta, to be more precise, which is a small keyboard instrument that is connected to a bunch of bells. And it was first used in the Nutcracker for the Sugar Plum Fairy. And over a century and a half of just like cultural inculcation, that sound has been associated with Christmas. It's been associated with magical, something fantastical. That's why it was crucial for us to have that instrument for our Harry Potter concert. And that's why it's also crucial to have it for this concert. The whole reason we were frantically raising money were for literally these three performances: Nutcracker, Home Alone, Harry Potter. Okay, with that as background, this is almost a celeste concerto. And what John Williams is doing in his movies, he's writing film music that evokes the Nutcracker. I mean, when things get frantic, it actually sounds like Trepak from the Nutcracker, or a lot of the other melodies that he uses. He paraphrases classic Christmas tunes, and you as an audience don't even realize this, but subliminally you're thinking, this sounds like Christmas music. That's because it is.
Well, the title of our last show when we were visiting about John Williams was "You Are Being Manipulated."
You are being manipulated. Because I think a lot of people don't realize this, but when they're watching the screen, and maybe the action on screen, you're either feeling anxious or happy or joyful. It's not necessarily what's happening on the screen that's making you feel that way. It's the soundtrack informing you of how to react to that scene. Music really is the language of emotion. And so, yes, we are manipulating you, and John Williams is the best at it.
Home Alone with Orchestra Iowa, live orchestra with the complete great holiday film. Funnier than heck film, November 16, 17, right? 2 shows?
This weekend, yes. So Saturday night at 7:30 and then a Sunday matinee at 2 o'clock.
And tickets at the usual website, which is?
Well, there's 2 of them, orchestraiowa.org or artsiowa.com. Now, let me explain why we have 2 different websites. So people don't know this, but Orchestra Iowa does all the ticketing for every event that goes through the Paramount. So when you go through artsiowa.com, that's sort of the portal that gets you to everything that's going on in the Paramount, whereas orchestraiowa.org is just our orchestra-specific activities.
But they'll both lead you to the ticket portal.
They'll both
That's the important thing.
Absolutely.
Well, as we said at the top of the interview, this is a busy season because I'm going to see you again again next week.
Yes, you
we're
will.
We're going to talk about the next Masterworks
yes, you
concert,
will.
which is
Can't
going to be a big one. Yeah, huge.
I got to get my mind around this one first.
All right. Well, it's orchestra, it's celesta, it's chorus, it's Home Alone.
But it's a family tradition.
For everybody.
By the way, I know that people are just like starting to get their holiday decorations out. I just want your listening audience to know that Orchestra Iowa is already drinking eggnog from a fire hose.
Okay. There you go. And eggnog, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for being with me today,
Thanks
Tim.
for having me.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.